Good morning. I want to talk about the restoration of a bobbin and flyer assembly for a spinning wheel. Here's an old flyer and bobbin assembly. That's the wall and screws, and this is the bobbin. And when this bobbin came into the workshop, it had 2 or 3 chips out of it. So whilst I was making another 6 bobbins and I had the machine set up, I glued on some chips, glued on some wood to the chips and restored this bobbin, and it's exactly the same as restoring a pawn collar, and there's a video on my website on how to do that, so the procedure for repairing the bobbin's the same. Now, this flyer had a rather damaged washer, leather washer for spacing, and making leather washers is relatively straightforward. Basically you need a piece of thick leather and some tubes or solid metal, and you just put a sharp end on the tube, and then you can cut the washer out with a hammer on a sturdy bench, not the kitchen table. And then for the smaller central hole, probably get a solid piece of tube and drill down, and you've got to drill the hole in the side for it to let down. Now this one I didn't heat treat and it's got damaged on the end, but that's easily cut off and redone, and the heat treating video is also on my website, so you find out how to do that. I'll put links to them. Also, with this spindle flyer, with this flyer, the lady said it was a 1/4 of an inch too far that way. So what I've made, this is a wood called lignum vitae, so I've made a couple of washers that can go on and push the whole assembly over, and these are naturally oily wood, very strong, and it will work as a good bearing surface to move this flyer assembly over. Also, some of the hooks were damaged, missing, broken, and I just want to show how it's very easy to make a little hook in a similar style to the ones that you've got on the flyer already, and that can be done just with a panel pin, what are they calling them? A wire brad is what they're calling them here, and a couple of pliers. Basically, take the part that's going to go into the wood and you just bend it over at a right angle. That gives you the bottom part. Then you hold that there and just bend it round like so, and there's your hook. And if it isn't quite the right shape, you can use this like a vise and just nip it down a bit. And so there's the hook made. Now I'm just quickly going to switch to this flyer, which is the reproduction one, because I noticed there was one of these was loose, and I just want to, here we are, just want to show quickly how to use super glue. Now you can use this one drop system, you can put the glue straight in, it goes everywhere. Basically what I do is I just put a drop of super glue into a little cap of some sort, a little lid.
You also often use just a sheet of paper.
Just a sheet of paper, anything will do, and you just put a drop of super glue in the hole. You've got a lot more control, and then back in goes the pin, and that's set straight, and that will dry, and you can add a little more if you don't think you've got enough, whatever, and that solves that. Without any mess, you don't need to be ungluing your fingers. Now the wooden part of the flyer assembly, and I'm dealing with the metalwork part in another different video. This has to be cut out on the bandsaw. It'd take a long time to do it by hand, it could be done. And then you find the centre here and the centre here. You just run a centre line down, found the centre there, similar sort of process, just found the centre. And you drill through sufficiently large to take the spindle part, the metal spindle work part, and then as this has a square assembly here, this has to be cut out. But basically once that's cut like this, sanded, and you've established where the pinholes are going to go, and you've put your marks on, and you've drilled for your pins, made your pins and put them in, this part of the wooden assembly is finished.